There's nothing more fun than getting together to check out classic cars and cool hot rods. And the best place to do this is the NSRA Nationals. It's enough to make you want to raise a ruckus. So join us today as we join the NSRA in Louisville for an event packed with thousands of dream rides. For nearly half of its 40-plus years of existence, the National Street Rod Association has called Louisville home for the world's largest gathering of street rods, classic, and muscle cars. The NSRA Nationals fills the massive Kentucky Expo Center's grounds and exhibition halls. And after 4 days of judging, a select few of the more than 10,000 cars on hand are brought into Freedom Hall to join the circle of winners.
This is a 1959 Rambler American wagon. I bought this car in Des Moines, Iowa at a Good Guys show from a body shop owner. And I was actually trying to buy one that he did for his wife. I was looking for a wagon. My other two are coupes. And this car was in primer. And when I bead blasted it to start, I realized I didn't really have a car. So I ended up buying 2 more wagons. And this is the result of 3 cars put together. The paint on this car is 3-tone. Not many people pick up on that. It's a wineberry top. It's a platinum body. And then the bottom, the rocker, is actually a tinted black platinum to give it a shading effect. The motor in this car is pretty special. It's an LS Chevy. The Hemi heads that are on the car are the first set that Aries made. And it also has a Magnuson supercharger, so it's, to my knowledge, it's the only one out there that exists in that form. The engine work and the body work for the cover on the engine, it's all hand-formed aluminum. And what I was trying to create on the cover is the waterfall effect that I had on the rear of the car, the trunk, as well as the dash and the back of the seat. So if you look through the back of the car, you'll see the entire waterfall effect throughout the car. The chrome accents throughout the interior were just kind of to blend the waterfalls together and create a little more detail so it wasn't quite so flat. The attempt of the car was to try and create something that was elegant and not flashy. I think we pretty much nailed it.
That certainly is a remarkable Rambler. And with all the impressive machinery here at the NSRA Nationals, there are some entries that are singled out for special awards.
1935 Ford pickup truck. Somehow Comp Cams heard me ride it around yesterday, and they really liked the sound of the Hemi, the noise coming out of the Hemi. The motor is a 1955 331 Hemi built by Hotheads out in North Carolina. All brand new, just 6 carbs. Supposedly one of the best that they've done. The truck is brand new. It was custom built by Russ Moore. I own a body shop, so I take it from their build to where it is today. You know, everything on the truck is custom built, one-off. In fact, this cab is serial number 001. So this first one off their line. It's the first time they've ever did the water through the frame rails, first time they've ever did air ride on a straight axle. So it's a lot of new modern technology done with an old vehicle. I was trying to achieve an old school look, somewhere around the 40s, 50s look, but yet with today's modern technology. So I did the satin look that they would have did the flat black back in their day with the satin green of today. And don't know if you noticed, but the radiator's been moved to the rear on this truck. So all the water's piped through the frame rails on the truck. Trying to do a little bit of new technology again with a little bit of old school thing, because the old Hemis weren't very good at cooling back in the day. So we've added an extra 7 foot of cooling, and you know, so today, this weekend ride around, we did about 140, which is really good for an old Hemi motor. I have a friend that owns a stereo shop back at home. He built all the custom interior out of his own stable, I guess you'd say. Gear shift was a low car, 32 inch, had to stick with the old school look with just modern today's technology. So he's done all the wiring, all the interior, and everything's all one off again, just custom, but yet old school looking.
We'll have more from the circle of winners in a moment. Visiting the NSRA Nationals really gives you an appreciation for the mechanical magic performed on the cars on display, both inside and outside the main arena. But to really understand how special the overall award winners are, you need to appreciate the size and scope of this incredible event.
The show this year right now is over 10,000 cars, so got a big turnout. And you go out there and you think, I don't think they do one better, but every year there's another 32 that's done a little different. And now we're seeing some of the Camaros and some of the Mustangs and cars that are newer for us, but they make a great statement.
37 Chevrolet rumble seat convertible. 29 years ago, I bought it, and I'm second owner. It was originally metallic brown. And that's the way they came from the factory. It had 4 metallics in 37, and this was a metallic brown. When I got it from the original owner, him and his partner bought it. They worked for Dearborn, assembly line. This car came out and they bought it. And took it to California, and it's been underneath his mother-in-law's garage all these years. And I got it at a yard sale. And I've done it 3 times, worked on it, changed it around, yeah. Motor I just put in 2 months ago. It's a 433 horsepower, 396 roller motor. Everybody knows who I am. And I know where these cars are at. I know there's another one that was a barn find too. Oh, yes.
The dedication and determination needed to reach the NSRA circle of winners is obvious, and all of these cars deserve their moment of glory. Stay with us for more Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products. This edition of Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. And by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Welcome back to the NSRA Nationals on Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products. If you love hot rods, classics, or street rods, you must put a trip to the NSRA Nationals on your personal bucket list. They're vivid examples of the finest automotive art. The next 3 cars won for their incredible use of color.
It's a 1956 Ford F100 pickup. I've had the truck for 46 years. It's kind of been everywhere with me. The trucks I've had for 46 years, but I've had my wife for 15 years. So it's been in the family a long time. It was in pretty original condition. It was right off a car lot. Well, in the first 15 years I had it, I just drove it original. And but then when I started to build it, I started mainly with the front end, changing it out to a Mustang 2 front end, and putting a GM 350 in it with supercharged with a GM transmission, and it does have a Ford rear end in it. The body work, there's probably over 100 body changes in it. It's got a chop top, 2-inch. The fenders are widened. It's got custom running boards. All the molding is all done. It has a roll pan in the front and a roll pan in the back. It has a one-piece bed in the back. All the tailgates molded into the body. The interior is bucket seats. It does have a custom console, and the dash is customized to hold the instrumentation in it. It does have air conditioning, heating, all the modern good stuff in it. Hope to hang on to it. It's hard to get rid of when I've had it for that long.
It's a 1937 Ford, plate down, frame and body. It's a 95 LT1 engine. It's a Ford, 9-inch Ford, 350 gear in the back, 17s on the front, 18s on the rear. Been chopped 3 inches in the front. In the top, the front's been dropped 3 inches in the nose give it the stance. It does not have air ride. That is the road stance for the car. It's 3-stage. It's PPG Tangerine Pearl. It's a gold base paint. I put a little scratch on the car one time, and I carried it back to the man that painted it originally, which was about 400 miles, to get it done exactly the same, so I know. It's a really good driving, usable car.
It is a 1935 Master Deluxe Coupe. The top of the car is black cherry pearl, the bottom's torch red, and the car was built 19 years ago. A friend of mine bought it. It was built, and he bought it after it was built for 2 years. And then he passed away, and I ended up with the car and purchased it from his wife and son. And it's sat in the garage for a long, long time. The engine is a 283 bored 40 over. The car was found in Montana in a barn, and then a guy in Oklahoma City purchased it and built it. The interior is a tan, beigeish color with maroon trim around the seats and upholstery and stuff. Maroon dash. It's got air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, cruise, tilt, and I've done a lot of work to make it a driver. But it is a driver.
Stay with us for more Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products as we turn our attention to some Mopar machinery. Welcome back to Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products. The NSRA Nationals here in Louisville offers some delicious eye candy for those who hunger for customized and restored cars. Many of the machines here on display have Ford or GM in their DNA, but here are 3 winners that came from the Chrysler clan.
The 1934 Plymouth Coupe. I've had it finished now since October of 2011, and I've just been enjoying it. The interior is all leather. It has a Wise Guy seat that was custom built for the car, and then we made a console and all that fills the center of it. And the car actually belonged to my next door neighbor. He bought it in 1954. He passed away the Friday after Thanksgiving in '07 and left me the car. The car was in immaculate shape. We made some modifications to the body. The car is all steel. It's all original steel except the running boards and the hood. We took 2 inches off the front end of this car. We ripped the rear fenders and made them 2 inches wider. And then the running boards, we had to make new running boards and make them 2 inches wider. The body is all Mopar. It does have a Chevrolet running gear, and then it has a Ford rear end and all under it. It's got a little mix of everything.
It's a 1964 Plymouth Fury. When we started on it, I wanted to just send it on to the scrapyard. The windshield wipers, everything was rusted out. The floors, it was a lot worse shape than I thought it was when I bought the car. It looked solid, but it definitely wasn't solid when we got started. But my brother owns a little restoration shop in Seymour, Tennessee, and he just kept plugging away at it, and you know, we finally got it finished. He did a good job. At the time, he didn't have a brake, so we had a hand brake. He did all that by hand. I mean, it was a real project. We worked on it for like 3 months through the winter, and it was really turned out to be a real project. And the engine, it's a 440, and we had it bored out 30 over and balanced, and they didn't make any parts for this thing when we built it. It's been built about 6 years. Now they build a few parts for a 64, but we had to find the best stuff we could find at the junkyard and then fix it and then put it in. The interior, a guy that worked for my brother at his restoration shop did that, which he did a pretty good job on it. He's long gone. He was an older guy. I think that's probably the last one he did while he was there. Yeah, we drive it. I don't get it out much, but I do drive it for cruise ins and stuff stuff like that. Get out and have a good time with it.
It's a 1933 Dodge sedan. It's a rare car. I've been told that they only made about 700 of these cars when they were new. A client of ours brought this car to us, and he and his wife bought the car in Hershey as a restored antique and brought it to us to build a street rod for them. It was nice. It was a good car, solid original car. It had been painted, of course, and restored, but no patches in it. There was no rust in the car ever. Most of what we had to do metalwork-wise was fabrication. The car's chopped 2 inches in the front. The back of the roof is factory height. The grill shell's been shortened 1.5 inches to try and give the whole car just a bit of a wedge shape. It's a 6.1 Hemi from an 08 SRT Challenger, 6-speed automatic. It's got a Roadster Shop chassis and a 9-inch Ford. A lot of technology in this car. There's actually an iPad in the overhead console that operates rear view camera, GPS, sound system. If you look at the dashboard, there's no switches for headlights or turn signals or wipers or any of that stuff. It's all on an iPad app. Keeps it nice and clean. Every emblem on the car is custom made. We actually contracted a jeweler who has a lot of CAD drawing experience. The grill shell emblem, for instance, he took the original grill shell emblem, did a CAD drawing of it, removed all of the Dodge Brothers logo out of the middle of it, inserted our SRT 33 logo into it, and then cast them, polished them, enameled them, and we clear coated them. So every emblem on the car is custom made, all the trim's custom made. Greening did the headlights, the hood side trim, it's an aluminum craft grill insert, the tail lights, door handles are lock buttons out of a Nissan Armada door handle. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of technology and a lot of one-off pieces.
We'll have more one-of-a-kind creations when Dream Rides, presented by Steel Rubber Products, returns. This edition of Dream Rides, presented by Steel Rubber Products, is being brought to you by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. Evapo Rust, super safe rust remover. And by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Welcome back to Dream Rides, presented by Steel Rubber Products. The fun of the NSRA Nationals is being seen, and all sorts of machines cover the grounds and entertain the faithful. By the end of the weekend, the focus shifts to inside Freedom Hall and the exclusive Circle of Winners. Here are dozens of sleek and unique rides that define the state of the street rodding art. There are winners in other categories as well, including a car and couple who made an incredible long-distance journey to Louisville.
It's a 1940 Ford Deluxe two-door sedan. It came out of supposedly a museum or warehouse. It was stored 50 years, and it's got 17,000 original, actual documented miles. Original paint, upholstery, chrome, everything's original. I got her up to 23,000 now, so we went about 6,000 miles in the past 5 weeks. At the end of June, we left Bend, Oregon, and we went to Logan, Utah. Then we left there and came to Columbus with 5 days of rain on our way. And from there, we left and went on to Syracuse, New York, and had 2 more days to greet us with rain. Then we left Syracuse and went up into Canada for 2 weeks, and we toured around up there, and then we're back down here to Louisville. We're heading back tomorrow morning. We've got to get back home in time to clean up and get everything ready for heading for Pleasanton, California. And then from there on down to Los Angeles for 2 weeks, and then back home.
We love to travel.
Got original paint, upholstery and everything, but then I put a Chevy V8 motor in it, automatic, turbo 350, 8-inch Ford rear end with parallel leaf. It's got a chassis engineering rear kit and Heights front suspension, Mustang 2. It's got air conditioning, cruise control, CD changer, iPod, all the creature comforts for getting out on the highway. It drives 70, 75, real nice.
Very, very good ride.
Yeah, I've had her 60 years now, so I'm going to have to keep her.
The NSRA Nationals is 4 days filled with dazzling displays, crazy customs, and mean machines that can leave you exhausted. It's almost impossible to take it all in, but it is time well spent whether you have a passion for performance, are a potential builder, or just a casual observer. Let's take a look at some more from the circle of winners.
1955 Bel Air, two-door post. First off, we start off from the ground up, put an R. Morrison chassis. We got a LS2 engine, 325 horse, 700R transmission, and pretty much went through the whole thing in total restoration, you know. The interior was done by M&M out of Mississippi. It's all leather. It's pretty detailed. The engine, like I said, it's a Corvette engine, the LS2, 325 horse, and 700R transmission in it. And it's really fun to drive. It's got power. It's a fun car to drive. It's tight, you know. So I was surprised the attention got out around here. People really love it, you know. So it makes me feel good, you know. So
1940 Mercury convertible. These are extremely rare. There was only 900 and some made of them. Okay, this particular car, when I got it, was burned in a garage in Yakima, Washington. I went across country and drug it home. Any lead that was in the car was gone, and luckily there wasn't any damage as far as the sheet metal. It didn't get warped. However, the grill, which had been perfect at one time, was hanging up by the power panel, and that's where the fire started, and the grill ended up being a pile of hot metal on the ground, and it took 5 different grills to make one good grill. It took me 2.5 years to get it back on the road. This was probably the easiest car I ever did, because where this car came from, nothing rusts, ever. And as far as the body fitment, everything miraculously just fell together, doors lined up. I couldn't have been happier. As far as sourcing chrome for this car, that's the bad thing about it being on the rare side, because people that have these cars or find parts tend to hoard everything. I had put out an ad that I needed some stainless, and he called to tell me that he had 12 sets of stainless, but he wasn't interested in selling any of it. I've got right at 40,000 miles on this car now. The car runs excellent. It just glides down the road. I've got full air ride suspension on it and rides like a Cadillac. It's a pleasure to drive. It's got heated seats, and it's just like driving a late model car.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Dream Rides presented by Steel Rubber Products. If you like the cream of the NSRA crop, you'll want to be sure to join us each and every week as we encounter more dream rides from all across the country. Be sure to join us.